Intimacy after 60. When a woman desires an older man, she will test him with these 4 questions. After 60, when a woman is attracted to an older man, she rarely reveals it directly. Instead, she tests him with 4 specific questions designed to assess his emotional availability and inner direction. These 4 questions are subtle invitation. If you answer on the right frequency, she moves closer. The issue: if you miss the signal, she usually doesn't open the door a second time. Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Vernon again. If you've watched my earlier video, Love After 60, when a woman craves an older man, she already know how powerful those signals can be. Today, I want to take that understanding one step deeper, exploring why women use these questions, what they're truly listening for, and how many men misread the invitation entirely. Before we begin, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more wisdom about love, dating, and relationships. You'll gain insights that most men never learn, even after decades of experience. So let's start with the first question, one that sounds simple but carries far more meaning than it appears. 1. Do you spend a lot of time alone? This question is not about loneliness, it's about emotional availability. When a woman asks whether you spend time alone, she's trying to understand if approaching you will result in openness or resistance. The issue: she's asking, if I step closer, will I be pushed away? Is there room in your world for someone new? Or have you closed yourself off? Most men hear this question and answer literally. They say yes or no based on their schedule, their habits, whether they live alone or have friends they see regularly. But women desire older men who understand subtext, and the subtext here is crucial. She's not gathering data about your social calendar. She's testing whether your emotional world has space for intimacy, whether you're still open to connection, or whether you've retreated so far into solitude that letting someone in feels impossible. After 60, many men do close themselves off, often without realizing it. They've been hurt, disappointed, or simply exhausted by the demands of previous relationships. They built walls not out of bitterness but out of self-protection. And those walls, however justified, send a signal to women who might otherwise be interested. This man is not available, even if he's technically single. The right answer isn't about how much time you spend alone, it's about how you frame that solitude. The issue: if you say, yeah, I spend a lot of time alone, and honestly I prefer it that way, you've just closed the door. But if you say something like, I do spend time alone, and I value that, but I'm also open to meaningful connection when it's the right person, you've left the door open. Issue: you've acknowledged your need for space while signaling that you're not closed to intimacy. Women after 60 are incredibly sensitive to rejection before it even happens. They don't want to invest emotional energy in someone who's unavailable. So they ask this question early, and they listen carefully to how you answer. Issue: your tone, your openness, your willingness to engage rather than deflect. All of this tells her whether pursuing you is worth the risk. The philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre once observed, if you are lonely when you're alone, you are in bad company. But if you're content when you're alone yet still open to connection, you become someone worth approaching, said the man who understood that true availability is emotional, not logistical. Have you ever answered this question without realizing what was really being asked? Sometimes the conversations we dismiss as casual are the ones that mattered most. But openness alone is not enough. She also needs to know if the door is truly open. 2. Though, are you seeing anyone? Just doing your own thing lately? What she's really asking: are you truly available for intimacy? On the surface, this sounds like a straightforward question about your relationship status, but it's not. When a woman asks if you're seeing anyone or if you're just doing your own thing, she's not asking whether you're technically single. She's asking whether you're emotionally ready, whether your heart is actually open, or whether you're still guarding it so carefully that getting close would require forcing herself past defenses you're not ready to lower. This is one of the most misunderstood questions women ask when they're attracted to older men. because men tend to interpret it literally. They think, I'm not dating anyone, so I'll say no. And they assume that's the end of it. But women are listening for something deeper. They're trying to determine if you're in a place where connection feels natural, or if you're still closed off, still processing past relationships, still unsure whether you even want someone new in your life. My brother experienced this exact scenario. He'd been divorced for 4 years when he met a woman named Patricia at a book club. They talked for weeks, and one evening she asked him casually, "So are you seeing anyone these days or just doing your own thing?" He said, "No, I'm not seeing anyone. I'm really just focused on myself right now." He thought he was being honest and self-aware, but Patricia smiled politely, changed the subject, and never brought up anything personal again. Months later, my brother told me he'd been interested in her, but couldn't understand why she pulled back. When I explained what that question actually meant, he realized, I'm not available. What he should have said was something like, I'm not seeing anyone at the moment, and I'm comfortable with that, but I'm definitely open to meeting someone if the connection is right. That answer communicates availability without desperation, openness without neediness. Women after 60 have been through enough to know that pursuing a man who's emotionally unavailable is a losing game. They want to know that you've already done the work of becoming available, that connecting with you won't feel like a project, and this question is how they find out. The writer Anais Nin understood this dynamic beautifully. We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. When a woman asks if you're truly available, she's seeing whether your inner world matches the openness you claim, reflected the diarist who spent her life exploring emotion truth. And once she senses openness, her attention shifts to something deeper. 3. What are you looking for these days? It sounds like small talk, almost casual, but this question carries far more weight than it seems. She isn't asking about dating preferences or labels. She's listening for something deeper. Whether your life is moving towards something, whether there's purpose beneath your routines, or whether you're simply passing time without direction. When a woman asks this, she's not trying to define the relationship. She's trying to understand the man. Women don't invest in men who are drifting, no matter how attractive, charming, or financially secure they are. Direction creates emotional gravity. It makes a man magnetic not because of what he has, but because of where he's going and who he's becoming. And after 60, this becomes even more critical, because time feels finite and wasted energy feels unbearable. Most men miss the depth of this question entirely. They think she's asking about relationship intentions, so they say things like, I'm just looking for companionship, or I'm open to whatever happens. And while those answers aren't wrong, they're not compelling. They communicate passivity, not purpose. They suggest a man who's waiting for life to happen to him rather than actively shaping his experience. What she's really trying to assess is whether you have a sense of mission, whether your days are organized around something meaningful, whether you're still growing, learning, creating, contributing. It doesn't have to be grand. You don't need to be building a business, but you do need to have something that gives your life structure and meaning beyond just getting through the days. Understanding mature men means recognizing that attraction after 60 is less about what you've accomplished and more about who you're still becoming. The issue: women want to know you're not done, that life still excites you, that there's something ahead worth moving toward. And this question is how they find out. Viktor Frankl, who survived concentration camps by finding meaning in suffering, wrote something that applied to live, can bear with almost any how. Women are asking if you have a why, because without it, even the most comfortable relationship feels empty, said the psychiatrist who understood that purpose is what makes life bearable. So if this resonates with you, share this video with someone who needs to understand that attraction isn't about perfection. The issue. And then comes the question that decides everything. 4. What do you want at this stage of your life? What she's really asking is whether your life has space for her. At this point, she isn't gathering information anymore. She's imagining what it would feel like to move alongside you, whether your direction creates room for connection or quietly pushes her out. Issue. She's asking herself, would I feel safe with this man? Seen valued? Or would I be fitting myself into a life that doesn't actually include me, except as an accessory? If you answer vaguely, she withdraws. If you say something like, I don't know, just enjoying life, seeing what happens, you've told her that you have no vision, no plan, no sense of what you're creating. My wife told me something once that made this crystal clear. Before we met, she'd been seeing a man named George who seemed perfect on paper. Kind, stable. But when she asked him what he wanted at this stage of his life, he laughed and said, honestly, I just want to be left alone most of the time. No drama, no complications. He thought it was funny, self-aware even. But my wife heard something else entirely. She heard a man whose ideal life had no room for partnership. No matter how attracted she was, she couldn't invest in someone who'd already decided connection was a burden. She walked away quietly, and George never understood why the right answer is honest, but clear. It doesn't have to be perfect or polished. You might say, I want peace, meaningful connection, time with people I care about, and the freedom to pursue things I'm passionate about. I'm not interested in drama or surface-level relationships anymore. I want depth. That's specific. That's compelling. What women are listening for is whether your life has room for partnership without requiring them to disappear into it. They want to know that walking beside you would feel like collaboration, not subordination. This is why grounded masculine energy after 60 isn't about dominance or confidence in the traditional sense. The issue, it's about knowing what you want and being able to articulate it without apology or confusion. The philosopher Martin Buber wrote, all real living is meeting, but meeting requires two people moving toward each other with intention, not stumbling into each other by accident, said the thinker. Save this video and return to it when you need the reminder that attraction after 60 is subtle, intelligent, and rooted in psychological depth. By now, you understand the 4 questions women use to test emotional availability, readiness, direction, and partnership potential. When a woman desires an older man, she doesn't announce it. She asks, and her questions don't test your words. Women feel intention first, then listen to words later. Men hear words first, then search for intention. And that gap in communication is why so many connections are missed entirely. If you recognize these 4 questions, you'll no longer have to ask yourself, is she interested in me? Because by the time she's asking them, she's already opened the door. The only question left is whether you'll walk through it. Which of these signals went unnoticed in your past? Which answers came from habit rather than awareness? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your reflection might be the insight another man needs to finally recognize an invitation. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more wisdom about attraction, emotional intelligence, and connection after 60. And I'm Vernon. Thanks for watching till now, and see you in the next video.